Say, dude, where is your car?
So, The Big Lebowski is like a birthday present that I give myself every year. Like, I watch it on my birthday, usually if I can with a bunch of people, but even if that doesn't work out, I try to find time sometime in September to revisit Lebowski. And it's one of these Coen Brothers films because of how rich it is that it doesn't seem to matter how many times I watch it, I see new shit in it. It's an amazingly dense movie. There's an awful lot going on in it, and yet nothing is really going on in it. It's not really a mystery. It's kind of a buddy comedy.
But really, the story boils down to the dude is a tumbleweed.
Yeah, it's a series of events and a series of weird characters. And full confession, the first time I watched The Big Lebowski, I didn't laugh a lot. I liked it, and I couldn't wait for it to come out on VHS so I could get another pass on it. But it just got funnier and funnier and funnier to me, and it's never seemed to stop. It's like uncanny. Like it's one of the rare movies like Jaws or something that I seem to be able to watch again and again and not get tired of. I don't know what it is about the adventures of this guy, this layabout in Los Angeles, and how he gets mixed up with a millionaire who shares his name, and in trying to replace his rug, which was stolen from him, he gets caught up in kidnapping with nihilists and all sorts of confusing and distracting story elements. And in the end, like, there's no mystery to predict and no real obvious climactic moment to the movie. So, why does it have the cult following? Why do I love Lebowski so much? I'm asking you because I'm not sure I fully understand it. But that's my opening salvo. Anybody else a fan of The Big Lebowski?
Be honest, for me, Big Lebowski, I said this last time, it's a lot like Raising Arizona in that my brain gets it. Like, every scene I see, like, that's a really well-written, well-put-together scene. But I've seen it 3 times now, counting last night, and I just can't internalize liking it all that much. It's an almost perfect movie. I have no criticisms of it. I find it a little bit alienating in that way where everybody in the room likes something and you don't, and you kind of just feel like you don't belong. But everything about it is good. I'm not criticizing it. I just don't feel anything. So anyway, I think Paxton probably has more interesting comments about it.
No, I still hate it. No, I do not hate this movie. I've cherished The Big Lebowski since 1998 when it came out. Larry and I viewed this movie in the theater together. I believe, was it that very first year? We have to tell this story for the podcast.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
We went to a really lame Halloween party, dressed in really awesome costumes, like the year after The Big Lebowski came out.
Let's be polite. I wouldn't go so far as to say it was a really lame Halloween party. We don't know who might be listening. I thought it was quite a nice Halloween party.
Nobody knew who we were, was the point. We got to the Lebowski thing well before it became a cult thing. I was on board right away. I don't necessarily identify with Jeffrey Lebowski, despite that I've grown my hair out or anything like this.
In a bathrobe, Larry can be nearly indistinguishable from the dude.
The dude.
Depending on the cut of his hair and his beard at that time.
Actually, in an attic somewhere in Saskatoon, I think I have a photograph of you guys as Lebowski and the Jesus.
Yeah. Nobody knew who it was. It's tragic. But I don't know what this guy, like, he's not a role model. You don't necessarily want to drift through your life and just expect everything to work out for you the way, like, the dude seems to have. And we're never really clear how he's managing to not pay his rent. He's got the sweetest landlord in the world, but
I think it's made pretty clear. I mean, we follow the dude for, a week and a half, maybe, over the course of the movie, and he sires a child, he comes into some money, he gets a rug.
He's a leaf on the wind, I guess.
He's a tumbleweed, right? And the reason he gets where he wants to go is because where he wants to go is wherever he's headed.
He also, for a, quote, stoner character, has remarkable memory. Anytime he hears somebody say a phrase that catches his ear in the parlance of our times, or what's the George Bush quote in the
This
aggression will not stand. He remembers the little Lebowski urban achievers after Philip Seymour Hoffman mentions it once in The Office. But shit, yeah, the achievers.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, sad. Somehow he's playing the role of the detective, and we talked about this in the last Coen episode too, where they take basically what should be a gumshoe detective and they replace him, in this case with a pothead, and in another movie we're going to talk about with a barber. And they just set him on these adventures, and it's much more like he meets this suspicious character and gets punched in the nose, and then he meets this other suspicious character who sends him to a doctor for some reason, and you just have to go with the flow of the movie, and it asks a lot of you. And I know a lot of people I've known who were put off with initially are put off with the level of language in the movie. It was almost like it was initially trying to compete with Pulp Fiction.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The fucking talking in the fucking bowling alley, dude, was fucking crazy. The fucking... Yeah, the millionaire can pay for the fucking rug. That's the point.
Speaking of the gumshoe, one thing that I noticed that I hadn't noticed before is it's kind of like a burlesque retelling of Yojimbo, which I hadn't realized. But there is a line with the private detective in the VW Beetle who's talking about playing one side against the other.
John Polito, yeah.
And if you look at it in that way, it actually hits a lot of the same beats as Yojimbo or whatever all the other ones that are based off of it. There's a really famous pulp detective story that's based off of that, and got made into a Bruce Willis movie, The Last Man Standing.
Oh, that was awful.
What I'm talking about?
I know that movie, but I don't know the source that you're talking about.
Anyway, it's a famous story that keeps getting retold in movies about some drifter coming into town, and there's two houses or families at war, and he goes to one and gets beat up really. Oh, Miller's Crossing.
Right.
Miller's Crossing is based on that as well.
Yeah, much more structurally. I think the other thing that people are off-put by is that there is no gotcha mystery. The whole premise is that Bunny Lebowski has been kidnapped, and the big reveal is that Bunny Lebowski was never kidnapped. And I think some people feel burned by the lack of mystery in this, quote, mystery story. But this is, I've said it so many times, especially when Paxton's on the show, is definitely a movie that's about the journey. And if you connect to the dude, and if you like the dude, like, I find the smallest gestures in Jeff Bridges' performance just genius. Julianne Moore, who's a very professional actress, confessed that, like, she was amazed that this wasn't a huge hit, and that it was one of the few times in her professional career that she had a real hard time keeping a straight face doing a scene with another actor. Jeff Bridges was just killing her.
He is hilarious. It's a genius performance. His comedic timing, the physical comedy of his performance, the dance number he does with the whole bowling dance with Maud in the Viking bowling outfit. Him sliding sideways down the stairs in his cable porn outfit. I agree. Jeff Bridges hits it out of the park in every way possible in this movie. And I think Jeff Bridges feels that way about it too.
It's actually pretty amazing for an actor that's as unemotive as Jeff Bridges. And I mean, I don't generally like him or dislike him that much. I find him a bit flat. But when he's directed by the Coen brothers, his flatness really pops. This in True Grit.
I find Bridges, like, he doesn't always do good movies, but I almost always find him watchable. Like, if I can put up with R.I.P.D., I guess there's no line I won't cross for Jeff Bridges.
What about that one, like in the 90s, he was making action movies, wasn't he? Or he made that one about being a demolitions expert, which was really boring. Tron, he was really boring.
The demolitions expert one, yeah,
Blown
where
away.
he's like the former IRA bomber turned anti-terrorist guy, right? With the bouncing betties.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We talked about the theme of dreams and dream sequences in the Coen brothers, which they definitely take advantage of, both from his actual dreams and he gets drugged at some points. But I thought it was interesting how implicitly that he was predicting the future in the dreams. Like, when he gets knocked out, he has a dream of Maud flying away with his carpet, and when he wakes up, his carpet's been stolen by Maud. When he has another dream, he's doing a dance routine with Maud, wearing the same outfit as the porn star from the porn clip he saw. and a little bit later on he ends up having sex with Maud. I guess they've taken a little bit of the mystery out of it, but do you feel that added or subtracted to the proceedings?
The dream
That's very
sequences?
Coen
The
brothers.
dreams, yeah.
I think the dream sequences bring all kinds of richness to the story, and I'm not even sure if I agree with you that they are necessarily prophetic dreams in any way. I mean, presumably, as he's dreaming about Maud flying away with his rug,
That's happening.
he's laying on the floor half conscious with a bloody nose, and they're pulling his rug away and leaving. And
Right.
so, like, the dream might simply be his brain interpreting what's going on in a dream state. As far as the dream about Maud, I mean, the dude's he's a horny, virile fellow, and Maud's an attractive woman.
The first time he laid eyes on her, she was stark naked.
So, it might not even be any kind of foresight that he would end up having a child with this woman. It just happened that way, you know? He's just his fucking lady friend.
Well, it's a thing that's usually in the back seat. They'll sort of sneak in a little bit of dreamy atmosphere or those little moments in Miller's Crossing. But this one, they definitely dipped into it.
Well, I think much of the dude's life feels like a dream.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of mixture between dream and reality for the dude. He seems to spend a fair amount of time semi-conscious.
But we get that in at least 2 other movies on the list as well. Like it's kind of a regular go-to, right? We've got it definitely with The Man Who Wasn't There, and then like the prophetic thing, Oh Brother. I mean, we get the whole plot at the beginning of that.
Right.
So I think that's just one of the devices that they really like to use. So basically, I'm saying I'm with you, fellas.
I think we're all on the same team that we like this movie, although it does sound like, Matt gets it on the intellectual film criticism level, but he doesn't feel it deep down in the cockles of his heart.
I have a weird experience when I watch it and I forget the scenes almost immediately, and then people talk about them, and then I can have a vivid memory that's re-triggered. But yeah, I don't know what it is. It just won't stick with me.
Well, you're not alone. There's been a few times where I've had the conversation about Lebowski with people, and then I'll say, like, Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women, man. And then they smile and they say, yeah, I should watch that movie again.
It is a frivolous movie in many ways, and so if you're a person who doesn't like to spend time on frivolity, I can understand not being entertained by The Big Lebowski. But if you want to be entertained in any way, and you're sitting down to watch a movie and you want to be swept away into a story that's going to make you laugh, it's hard to argue against The Big Lebowski as being worth a watch, I think.
Oh, well, I definitely think so, but I understand that people are mixed on it. I also think that there's a closet heart in this movie. The relationship between John Goodman and Jeff Bridges kind of sneaks up on you. It's weird because the only thing that brings them together is bowling. If not for bowling, these guys probably hate each other, right? But they got on the same bowling team, so they're bros. And it's weird how the dude is trying to be on the surface this mellow fellow, and his best friend is constantly pissing him off and making him yell and scream. And like, it seems like they don't like each other, but you kind of understand at the end of the movie and with the whole funeral service for Donnie that they're deeply connected. They're bros. Like, the friendship story arc is almost stronger than the sort of, quote, mystery story arc. But it's not obvious at all. It just kind of hits you all of a sudden that that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, John Goodman. Again, I know I said when we did Barton Fink that might be his very best performance, but no one else could play this part. Name me another actor who could have brought Walter Sobchak to life in the same way that Goodman does, because I can't think of it.
Well,
Obviously, Chris Farley. You just need a fat guy that yells.
You think that's all it took?
Walter Sobchak was written for John Goodman.
Absolutely,
if I remember correctly. Now, do either of you know how much, jumping back for a second to the dude's performance, do either of you know how much Bridges knew about the real dude? the fellow that inspired the dude as a character.
He met the guy, and after meeting the guy, intuited that he'd be okay with letting his gut out a little bit for the movie.
Yeah.
Apparently, the real guy is actually much heavier than what we see.
I actually think he's
passed away?
deceased
Okay.
now. So one thing we haven't mentioned, and that we should, particularly because it relates to some of the earlier movies we've discussed, is the Sam Elliott character.
Okay, the
sort of
narrator?
omniscient narrator that they tend to like to dip back to every once in a while. What do you think of the stranger and his presence in this film? Because I like a good sarsaparilla, but if I have to question one thing about this here movie, it's why, oh why, is Sam Elliott here?
Is he the Mike
the first
Yanagita
place?
of this movie?
I mean, another Coen Brothers theme is the cowboys, right? There's kind of a, I don't know how to say it, like a kind of a libertarian ethos that runs through Coen Brothers, and they're really into the lone cowboy wanderer. And also a god or a god figure will pop up. So this seems just to be a confluence of those two. We've got this, just the archetypical platonic man that is there to sort of give the thumbs up to Big Lebowski.
It's the same role that the guy in the Clockworks of the Hudsucker Proxy, who has the narration there and intervenes in the plot, I guess, to some extent.
See, I would disagree with that, because Sam Elliott doesn't intervene at all. He's just
He's there to watch the
more
bowling.
like the old guy at the beginning of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, where he's just kind of watching. He's not really part of the mechanism.
Yeah.
I think you guys are cruising for a fight here already, because there's nothing to fight about. The point is, both characters are the narrators of their respective movies, and they are both, if not omnipotent, superhuman in some way.
They know more than we do somehow.
Right. They're voices that the Coens have given to their narrator in that story, and it's definitely a big difference that the clock keeper in Hudsucker does intervene at not just in the story, but in the climax of the story.
Yeah.
It's literally Deus Ex Machina taking place in the movie. Or Deus in Machina.
But I like the idea
throwing a wrench into the machine.
If we went with the idea that he's God, and I'm not even committing to that, I like that he's there, but I won't pretend that I fully understand his presence, but I wouldn't cut it at all. I like the idea that if it was God, that he's really interested to see how this bowling tournament goes out. Like, he wants to watch the semis, and he doesn't really know on some level how it's going to turn out. This is interesting to him.
Well, presumably an omniscient being that's benevolent and curious would kind of care about all of us and would kind of hope that there's a little Lebowski on the way. Right? I mean, it's just I like to think of the stranger as being... I hadn't actually, Matt, thought of him in relation to their sort of libertarian streak that I think you're right, they do, it does pop up in their work, but sort of if there was a god of modern day, the modern day American West, it's kind of this Sam Elliott, faux cowboy, traveler, rambling man, god voice, and holy shit, what a voice. He's the perfect man to play the part. I don't think he takes anything away from the movie. I just think that a movie that's already kind of loud and
strange
and can put the casual viewer off, that it's an interesting and maybe questionable choice to have the whole thing framed by this strange, inexplicable cowboy god narrator figure. But I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and one more level to that, in a film that's strange and can put people off, the narrator is also put off by some of the strangeness.
Yeah.
Well, every now and then say that, I didn't like all of it. I didn't like that part, or I didn't fully get it.
Yeah.
Well,
why did it get all real when Donnie died?
I have to agree. I didn't much like it seeing Donnie go. It wasn't my favorite thing.
Again, that's another thing that creeps up on you about the movie, because Donnie says almost nothing. They did the opposite with Buscemi in this movie that they did with Fargo. In Fargo, he couldn't shut up, right? And in this movie, he just gets these little interjections, is constantly being told to shut the fuck up, Donnie. But when Donnie goes, there's impact for me for some reason. When he fails to roll that strike and that one pin just wobbles but doesn't fall, it seems to mean something, right?
It does seem to foretell his coming heart attack, but does it?
Right. Well, and that's the thing, like we were saying, strange details in an already strange atmosphere. Is this adding or subtracting to things? I think it's almost always adding, even when I don't understand it. Why is David Thewlis there in that one scene, snarkily laughing at everything that happens to him? It's Sandra about the Biennale. Like, what the fuck was that about? I love it, don't get me wrong, but honestly, what the fuck was that about? And I have to point out something that we noticed, because we've watched this a gajillion times. The two thugs that work for Jackie Treehorn that assault Lebowski at the very beginning of the movie and then disappear for about an hour, and then we see them again when he meets Jackie Treehorn.
Woo. And I don't know the other
Can't remember the name of the other guy. They switch clothing. It's the same clothing, but the other dude's wearing the other guy's outfit.
Awesome.
Like, why? And that has to be deliberate. I don't think that's a fucking accident, right? Like, why? Are they a couple? Did they just pick up what was on the floor next to the bed? Why?
I cannot cite a source for this, so take it with a big grain of salt, but I have a memory of reading somewhere in Reddit, in movie details or something, that the two actors asked if they could switch clothes.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
That it was an idea that they had that they thought would be funny, and the Coens liked it. But
it's just one of those things.
Don't quote me on it.
Kind of creates at least a very minor motif of people like, so these are Jackie Treehorn's clothes, so we could imagine they're set clothes, and then we've got the dude wearing the porn outfit in the bowling green. So I don't know, maybe there's something to be done there.
I don't know. Are they Jackie Treehorn's clothes? I like the idea that these two henchmen like room together. They share a small apartment because they don't make much money working for Jackie Treehorn.
But who other than a crazy person like myself would fucking notice that? Like after the 10th or 20th time I'd seen The Big Lebowski, I noticed in the fucking toe scene, when the dude goes to pay for his coffee, he drops a joint on the counter and scoops it up really quickly as a little afterthought. It's just this tiny little detail, but like, didn't need to be there, but it's kind of awesome that it's there, but why?
Yeah.
This is nowhere near as clever as those observations, but speaking of Fargo, the other guy from Fargo, the quiet killer, I noticed for the first time that he finally got his pancakes in Big Lebowski.
That's right, Peter Stormare. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think I've solved the riddle. I mean, we're almost 24 minutes into the review. I don't know what it is that I find so magical about The Big Lebowski, but that's the level of appreciation I'm attributing to it. I think it's just an awesome, amazing, completely original, while borrowing left and right, movie. And the fact that I can never tire of watching it's a mystery that I guess maybe I don't want to solve.
Let me take a wild stab at the dark in cracking your nut here, Larry.
Oh dear.
Can you think of an example of a Coen film that is more of a celebration of just pure whimsical storytelling than The Big Lebowski?
I think that's what they were going for in Hudsucker, but if so, it was a much more successful swing here. Like, so the aw shucks sort of happiness of Hudsucker is kind of like
Hudsucker
oppressive.
has a very predictable telegraphed arc, whereas in The Big Lebowski, nothing happens. She didn't even kidnap herself. He didn't even have money in the briefcase.
Yeah.
It's really just a comedy of errors that results in a baby, I guess.
Yeah. There's a little Lebowski out there, and I don't know about you guys, but I take comfort in that.
I don't take comfort in it, but I do take a lot of entertainment away from the movie. And I do take comfort in getting together with Larry every year and watching The Big Lebowski and playing the Lebowski game. This is an all-ages podcast, so I won't explain said game, but I'm sure the rules can
It's
be
fun
found
at parties.
somewhere out there on the internet.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about Lebowski?
I do want to say, because you hit the point a few times, that part of the deliciousness about the movie is that it doesn't need to be there, right? Like, the whole thing is just the Coen brothers taking this very simple gumshoe framework and populating it with ideas that amused them, right? That my understanding is that the whole script was built around the homework interrogation scene. That's what was written first, was they basically John Goodman and his buddy, I don't know if they knew it was going to be Bridges yet at that point, interrogating a teenager over his homework. They wrote the scene, and the whole thing fleshed out from there.
They thought this guy who insisted everybody call him the dude was hilarious, so they there was something there. And the idea, yes, of John Goodman wearing a small suit and just screaming at a kid about his homework somehow birthed the Big Lebowski.
It feels like pure Coen goulash in a way that none of their other movies do, and I'm not meaning to say that that's necessarily a virtue.
Yeah.
But if you're a fan of the Cobra, if you really like the soup they serve, then The Big Lebowski is going to be a special kind of deliciousness, even though it means less in a way.
The people who like it a lot.
It means it might mean less than a lot of the other movies that they make.
I also just want to say this is the movie they followed up Fargo with. The movie that finally cracked the Oscars. It's another one of their counterintuitive moves. Like, Hudsucker was supposed to be the big box office win that pleased everyone, and it was a bomb. Fargo was the movie that was going to be so dark it wrecked their careers, and it won a bunch of Oscars. So now, with that Oscar credibility on their backs, The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, I think it was a fun reach back to, like, hey, remember Raising Arizona?
Yeah.
Let's do something that joyful and goofy and fun, and I liked that. Let's do that again, except different, because they don't.
But also not trying too hard, like a couple of other movies on this list.
Could be accused of being guilty of.
Right, you cannot accuse this movie of trying too hard while simultaneously it is almost perfectly executed on a technical level. Really. Brilliant.
I love it.